Hey, so I just got to ride the Revelate Designs new Pitchfork bag on a 2 week, 1,250 mile bikepacking trip and be one of the first people to really put it through its paces. So I found myself first a little skeptical of a bag mounted to aero bars, and now after having spent 2 weeks on it, I really don't want to go bikepacking without this little bag. So I'm psyched to share with you some of the things that I learned about it, and how I had it working for me super well, and how it really became a great part of my kit that I don't want to travel without. So to start, the Pitchfork bag is a harness that is mounted to the aero bars, and then there's a dry bag mounted to that is removable. So I'll show you the interworkings of the harness and the dry bag. So with the Pitchfork bag mounted on the aero bars, you can see there are these straps. There's 4 that strap right around the aero bars themselves. They're adjustable, so you can adjust the strap location to match the width of your aero bars. And in that way, and these are rubber, so they provide a lot of stability with the bag over the top of the bars. And that's what's holding the Pitchfork bag onto the aero bars. Amazingly, it really doesn't move at all as long as these little cam straps are tightened. And then these straps here are what secure the dry bag into the harness itself. And this strap goes through the dry bag closure strap to really keep it in there and secure. But this bag set up like this is very secure, keeps your dry bag on the handlebars. It doesn't move at all, and amazingly, you don't have to worry about the bag rubbing your head tube at all either, because the aero bars and the position of the Pitchfork bag, by nature of being out in front of the handlebars and the stem, keep it away from that head tube. So once the Pitchfork bag is fully loaded, there's a lot of things that you can do with it as you're riding. So there's this draw cord in the middle here that typically I would ride with it empty, and then throughout the day as I move layers around or get a resupply, I would put things in it. So most often I'd pull a layer off, like a wind jacket, and stuff it in here. It's actually pretty easy to stuff it in while you're riding, or you can just pull over, stuff it in, and cinch it down. And there it is, just right there, handy. And then you can put it away in a different bag once you don't need it for the rest of the day. In addition to this little bag that allows you to add things to the middle, there are these 2 pockets that are really their own little black holes. And I loved these things because I could put all sorts of things in here. Some of my favorites were fruit. I would often buy fruit, or I'd basically buy fruit whenever I could, given it was a 2-week trip and was lacking a lot of fresh food. So mangoes, oranges, apples, bananas, those went in here. Bananas actually go in the middle really well. And that was just a safe place for them to travel. Avocados as well, and they weren't getting as bruised. Other snacks, like a lot of my ride food through the day, I'd just stuff a next snack that I'd want in there because it was so easy to get in and out of. It also become a holding place for trash. And then chapstick and chamois cream or sunscreen, those little items are often in there as well. And you could just stuff things in and pull this cord, and it cinches the pocket down so nothing can fly out. And that way, things like trash, my phone, chapstick, those things weren't ever going to bounce out of there. In addition to, and then you can also pull this and loosen it. And so they're really easy to operate on the go with one hand. I like riding without my gloves, and so I'd often stuff those in there. They were easy to cram into a hole And then when resupplying, whether it was chocolate milk or a beer or some other cold drink, it would easily, amazingly, you could just stuff it right in there and you wouldn't have to worry about where to put your cold camp beverage. So yeah, I think it was probably these pockets and how easy they were to operate while riding and how much they actually held was pretty amazing. I could put a whole layer in there, like a wind shirt or a warmer jacket, and yeah, hugely increased the capacity. This little bag held my sleep kit, so I never pulled it out during the day. It was a really great place to have my sleep kit because it's compact, it's in a dry bag, and it could just sit on here and I wouldn't ever have to pull it off. But then when it was time to get to camp, I could just pop these cinch straps down here, unclip the little retainer buckle here, and pull out my sleep kit. So that was right there. And now, as you can see, the pronghorn bag itself just stays on here. I never pulled this off during my trip, except once I washed my bike, pulled it off then. But otherwise, this would stay on at camp, and I would pull off my sleep kit and bring it over to where I was sleeping. And then in the morning, it's really easy to load. Just slides in. And this little strap keeps it from shooting out. Sometimes I'd usually put that on the top. Cinch that down. Tuck a strap in so it doesn't hit my tire. And that's it. Super easy. And looks good too. And it's probably more aero. One other thing about the Pitchfork bag that's really awesome, and if the pockets aren't a reason for you to consider it, a huge reason for me that this works so well is with the drop bars. There's so much space for my hands, and so unlike a handlebar bag that's mounted parallel to a bar, this is mounted perpendicular, and so you don't compromise any hand positions or any control on the hoods with braking or shifting, because the bag is just out in center and not in the way of your handlebars at all. So that's probably the best reason to run a Pitchfork. But the pockets and the ability to carry fruit and beverages and stuff all the knickknacks in right there are a great reason in itself. As far as function of the aero bars, I was able to get in there and hold on to the ends pretty easily. I would just kind of like tap a hand around here and I didn't have any problem with that. And my aero bars are trimmed pretty short for shorter arms. So yeah, that's the Pitchfork.